A beautiful welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel. It's your host, me. We are here on Tuesday, and I am thankful, guys. 3.1K views. I know it's a drop in the bucket of the YouTube mega picture, but for me, that's awesome. Might be our highest viewed ranking videos to date or video to date, so I'm thankful for that. You guys gave me 74 comments to wade through, and I found 3 good ones. Here they are. Skylar Alvarez says, I remember when you said Knicks was bad and had Denver at wins the draft. I sit before you humbled. I sit before you apologetic. I'm sorry, Skylar. You're right. I did say that. And I believe that if Russell Wilson could get it done in the system, that neither could a rookie in Bo Nix. But he has done that. Their defense is playing well. So you were right. I was wrong. Good call there. Football Guy says, terrible list. But thankfully, Bar Caps win says perfect list with 3 fire emojis. So I don't know how you weight those in terms of who is more accurate with how my list was, but a guy named, guy's name is Football Guy. I might trust him. So we'll hope to do better. Hopefully we can get Football Guy's respect this week. Let's start with the AFC first, only because it's pretty set in stone. It's week 13, and we pretty much know the 7 teams that are going to make the playoffs. We'll start with the West, and the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. Comfy playoffs. I know people in the comments last week were upset that I don't have them in Super Bowl conversation. I haven't seen the caliber of play that I need to see out of this team to believe that they are. Now, I'm not saying they're not Super Bowl bound, right? Like, we know what this team is capable of and always does at the end of seasons and has done for the last half decade. However, they struggled again this week with one of the worst teams in the league, Carolina. Allowed a lot of points to Bryce Young's offense. I'm not sold quite yet on the Chiefs. The Chargers, although they did lose to the Ravens last night, and although they have had a fairly easy schedule, I think Scott Van Pelt on the pregame show said that the combined record of teams they've beaten is like 27-54. So they're playing bad teams is the best way we can say it. However, it is looking pretty likely that this team will still find a way to make the playoffs, so we'll go ahead and slot them in comfy playoffs. The Raiders are going to be in wins the draft, did not win this weekend against the Broncos, and Gardner Minshew is now out for the year. Who do they start? Who do they just pick up or have? I can't remember. It's not Spencer Rattler, because I know he's with the Saints, but I don't think Aiden O'Connell came in, because I think he's hurt too. I forget who they have. Desmond Ridder, maybe? But I thought he was with the It doesn't matter. They suck. Why am I talking about it? The Broncos. The Broncos will probably also make the playoffs, or at least they have one of the higher probabilities of making the playoffs. We'll slot them in Week 18 Warriors, though, because I think it's less certain than the 2 teams above them. Really impressed with the AFC West this year. They exceeded my expectations. The Steelers will be in the playoffs, I believe, and although their loss to the Browns on Thursday was ugly, you can kind of come to expect ugly divisional games, especially with the weather that was had. So, on the road, I'm not going to hold it against them. I do think it worries me a little bit, but they've done enough so far at the beginning of the year to kind of secure a playoff spot. Same thing with the Ravens. I am tempted to slide the Ravens up to Super Bowl conversation. If I had to pick the strongest, here's what's going to tick all you off, okay? And I'm going to say it, and I don't care. And you can disagree with me in the comments. That's totally acceptable and within your rights. If I had to pick the best team of these 4, I would pick the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I get it, guys. The Ravens lost to the Chiefs week 1, okay? The Ravens lost to the Steelers not long ago. I get those things, right? And I think that better teams can lose to worse teams. That's the nature of the NFL. But if the Ravens played each of these teams in a 10-game series, I think the Ravens would win the majority of games against all of these teams right now. Okay, I know what happened in week 1. You can't honestly say that the Ravens don't look better than the Chiefs, although they have lost. When they beat themselves, they lose, right? That's what people are talking about. When they lose the game, they lose the game. They are rarely beaten by another team. It doesn't matter, okay? You guys aren't going to agree with me. That's fine. I would still take the Ravens of these 4 teams. The Bengals. I mean, seriously, guys. What, 6-11? I've been so back and forth with the Bengals, but I think their time has come. They have shot their shot, and they're done. Joe Burrow is playing an MVP level season. If this team right now had lost 2 games, Joe Burrow would probably be the MVP. So Take that as you will. Kind of wild. And the Browns, Jameis Winston, have they found their quarterback? I wouldn't go that far. He's old, but he has found something. What's with Joe Flacco? We saw him kind of have a late career resurgence with the Browns, and now we see Jameis Winston. Maybe this team just needs to get journeymen, old guys to come in, but wins the draft. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to do it. People, again, one of the heaviest disagreements I have in the comments is that the Bills are not Super Bowl caliber, Super Bowl competing. I think they are, because we have seen this team change from years past in that their running game is more dominant, more involved, and Josh Allen now has less pressure on him. And I think that it only means good things. Their defense is playing well. So I will continue to put the Bills in Super Bowl conversation until I feel that they do not deserve it. The Miami Dolphins are one of the only teams in the AFC that has a small chance to make the playoffs. It's very small, and it would be what I would consider unlikely. So we'll put them in because we'll give them the respect that they deserve, but I don't even think they're kind of like a Week 18 wild card situation yet, because I think their percentage to make it's like 10%. So we'll leave them in the category. Last week, somebody was mad. I had them in 6-11. They said they'll win more than 6 games. That's why I've added the quotes. Okay, 6-11 is symbolic. It means, they're just not very good, but they're not horrible. All right. So sorry, I'll add the quotes now. Patriots got stomped by the Dolphins in the first half and then came back in the second half. We'll put them in 6-11. I like what Drake May has been able to do. I think he is the quarterback of this team's future. So there we have it. Jets. I'll put them in 6-11. Here's the deal. The Jets are going to beat the Seahawks this week. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, the Jets, for as much of a laughingstock as they've been, for as bad as they've been, for as everything as they've been, Seattle is going to come to New York, and they're going to lose to the Jets this week. I'm telling you right now. Stamp it right now. 11:26, 9:17 a.m. The Seahawks are going to lose to the Jets. Clip this. All right? Golly. The South. Wins the draft for the Jags? Is that crazy? 6-11? I'll put them in wins the draft because that's how they're playing. Now, they've had some injuries. Trevor Lawrence, I get it, but still, one of the biggest disappointments this year, to me anyway. One of the biggest surprises. Houston, what are you doing? What are you guys doing? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? The Titans? Divisional games, man, they're always weird. Now, again, they're the beneficiaries of a very soft division. So we'll put them in comfy playoffs. But, at one time I had this team in Super Bowl conversation. Super Bowl teams, they don't lose to the Titans at home. That's all I'm going to say. Titans, because of their win, we're going to put them in 6-11. They're not going to win 6 games, but because of their win this weekend, we're going to give them a little bit of credit. We're going to slide them up a little bit. Impressive win, Will Levis, what a meme, right? Colts are the only other team in the AFC really with a reasonable shot. It's crazy that you can lose to a team 24-6 and it be like a win. But I think playing the Lions that close, holding the Lions to 24 points, it deserves something. Like, that's kind of impressive. All right, so let's go ahead and rank the AFC. I would say the Bills are the best AFC team. If somebody forced me to say and make a prediction, I would take the Bills first. I would take the Steelers next, or the Ravens next, which is going to tick off everybody in the comments. I just need you guys to understand that I'm not saying this is for sure. I'm recognizing that head to head, the Chiefs and the Steelers have beaten this team and beaten them recently. Okay, but I will also recognize, I will ask you to recognize that there's some nuance. There's a conversation to be had. Just talent-wise, on paper, all things considered, I think why am I trying to prove something to you guys? I don't care. Screw you guys. Comment all you want. I think the Ravens are better than these teams, and you can disagree. Shut up. But don't shut up. Put it in the comments if you want. Okay. I'll do something like this. I do think Houston would be better than... that's close. I'm okay with this. All right. Broncos, fine with there. Colts and Dolphins. I know the Dolphins won head-to-head, but I think now the Dolphins would probably beat the Colts, given that Tua's back. And then 6-11, that looks pretty good. And maybe you want to make this argument. I'll make the argument. I'll do it. And then down here, I'm fine with something like that. Okay, that's the AFC. All right, Now the NFC, Falcons. This is where it gets very interesting because as set in stone as the AFC is, the NFC is kind of the opposite. There's a lot of teams playing for things in these last few weeks. Falcons, I'm going to put in Week 18 Warriors with the Buccaneers. It's going to come down to these two teams. Here's the lowdown, all right? The Falcons are one game better than the Buccaneers right now in terms of schedule. They hold the head-to-head tiebreaker because the Falcons beat the Buccaneers twice. The Buccaneers' schedule, I believe, is easier to finish out the year than the Falcons. My prediction, if I had to make one, is that the Buccaneers finish the AFC South at the top. Okay, that's just how I feel right now. I think the Buccaneers make a late push and beat out the Falcons. Now, the Falcons have a 70% chance to win the division right now. I'll take the Buccaneers 30% over the Falcons 70. Call me crazy. Good for Carolina. Competing with the Chiefs, they look better. They look like they found something. I mean, obviously a little too late. And you know what? We'll reward them too. If we're giving out participation trophies this week for the Patriots, for the Titans, and for the Panthers, we'll do it. 6-11. Saints, again, really good start to the year, but we can't. We'll put them in 6-11 too. They're not showing me anything. Whew. I mean, you lost like 30-0. Something crazy. Wins the draft. Eagles. Okay, you ready? You ready? I'll give credit where credit's due. I hate the Eagles. I hate their style of play. I don't think Jalen Hurts is a premier quarterback in terms of what people typically look for in a quarterback. In other words, if the Eagles are down 10 points at halftime, I don't want Jalen Hurts to be the guy to lead the comeback. All right? If the game is tied at halftime, I'll take Jalen Hurts. If we're up 10 at halftime, absolutely give me Jalen Hurts. He's just not a go-getter. All right? I don't want to call him a game manager because you're gonna fry me in the comments. When I look at his passing, he misses a lot of passes. Okay, so he's not built. I don't think he's built for the limelight, the comebacks. He's built to stay in games, and we'll respect him for that. He does certain things well, but I think he can be beaten. However, Saquon Barkley might win MVP. When does a running back win MVP? Very rarely. Once every decade or two. 250 some yards this weekend against the Rams. Wow. We'll put him there. And of course, we'll put the Lions there in a little bit, but we'll respect the Eagles and what they've done. Washington, is there a team that's taken a bigger nosedive? And you guys kind of called it. I had maybe been too optimistic. Here's what's tough. Here's what ticks me off about this. Sometimes I have to answer to you guys because I don't want to face the negativity in the comments. And so when a team like Washington is winning games and they're looking good, even if I sit here and say, I don't know, right? I don't know. It's kind of like the Ravens, right? Like I feel like the Ravens are better than these teams and you guys are going to disagree with me, but I'm going to trust myself because I wasn't so sure about the Commanders, but I went with the narrative. I went with what people thought, and I've been putting them up here, even though they'd played nobody, and now they're losing to the Cowboys, Cooper Rush. Okay, and now I look like an idiot. So I have to just trust myself and embrace the fact that I might look like an idiot, but at least I was honest and true to myself. Okay, so what's the deal? Probably going to still make the playoffs. Week 18 Warriors, but they've got to figure some things out, especially on defense. Okay, they can't keep giving up all the points that they've given up, okay, especially late in games. All right, Cowboys, good win, but it doesn't matter. We'll put them in an ugly wins. We'll put them in 6. We're putting everybody in 6-11. Let's just put the Cowboys in 6-11. Okay, Lions, Super Bowl conversation. I would love nothing more than to have an Eagles Lions NFC championship and a Bills. And any of these 4 teams. I take the Bills versus any of these 4 teams. AFC Championship. Okay? I think we're really set up well for the playoffs. I think it's going to be a great year. Vikings going to be in the playoffs as a wild card, though, which is crazy. They're 9-2 or whatever they are, and they're going to not win the division. Pretty bizarre, but good year so far for the Vikings. Bears, this is one I trusted myself, I believe. I believe when people were glazing the NFC North and people were talking about, best division in football, I believe I stuck to my guns, and I said, I'm not sold on the Bears. Ugly game, ugly team, 4 wins, yuck. Packers, will also be in the playoffs. And I know last week, I think I had them in Week 18 Warriors. Very convincing win against whoever they played this week. I need a drink, guys. I'm 15 minutes is way too long for a freaking rankings video. Who the heck did they play this week? They stomped them. Josh Jacobs went crazy. Dude, I'm losing my mind. I'm going to look it up because it's my video, and I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to, oh, bro doesn't know ball. He can't remember who the Packers played this week. Eat my toots, Mom. They played the Niners, dude. Of course. I knew that. Brock Purdy-less Niners. So not a super good win, but a win nonetheless. And whatever. Who cares? The Rams. They still have a chance. Outside looking in, we'll put them in, and that's kind of how I feel about all this division, really, now. The Seahawks are at the top. But like I said, the Seahawks are going to lose to the Jets. So I'm actually going to put this, I'm going to put all of the NFC West in Okay? I don't know who's going to win the NFC West. It's probably not going to be the Niners at this point, and maybe not the Rams, but I'm not sold on the Seahawks, and the Cardinals look. I don't know who's going to win. Okay? I'm not going to take a stand here. All right? Let's reorder all of this so you guys can shut your mouths. Lions are the best team in football. I think the Eagles are next. I'm fine with the Bills there. I would slide the Packers up to about here. And I would slide the Vikings up just a little bit past them, maybe past the Steelers, very close to the Steelers. I would do something like this. I would do something like this and feel pretty good about it. Week 18 Warriors. I know. Go, well, Denver beat Tampa Bay. I know, guys. I'm just saying right now, if they played again, I think Tampa Bay is the better team. Doesn't mean that the Broncos are not capable of beating Tampa Bay. I just think Tampa Bay is the better team. I'm fine with this. The category. This makes me want to throw up. All of these teams, listen, if the Dolphins played every team 10 times, it'd be 5-5. If the Colts played every team 10 times, it'd be 5-5. If the Rams played all these teams 10 times, it'd be 5-5. If the Steelers, they're all the same. They're all the same team. Dude, okay, take a breath. The video's already long. The people who want to watch will watch. Relax. You don't have to rush through this. I literally don't know. I literally don't know what to do with this division. I think the Colts are the worst. And honestly, I think the Dolphins are probably the worst too. Maybe you take dude, I don't, when healthy, dude, I cannot adequately, rank the NFC West. In the comments, rank the NFC West right now. If you had to predict, predict how they finish it. Okay, I'm going to predict how they finish. Let's just do it that way. Cardinals, Seahawks, Rams, Niners. Niners are going to be the last? That's crazy. I don't care. Screw it. 6 and 11 category. In terms of best teams, I do think the Bengals are probably the best. We'll move up the Saints a little bit. We'll move up the Cowboys when healthy, but they're not healthy. Dude, this sucks. I hate this. Are we doing when healthy? I'm spiraling, chat. I'm spiraling. It's it gets to a point where do we really need to rank some of these teams? I think that's fine, roughly fine. Probably Bears are probably better than. Oh, he's lost control. He's off the deep end. He's off the deep end, chat. Okay, I think this is pretty good. Yeah, I would be okay with this. I mean, again, any of these teams could be any of these teams, but we have to do what we have to do. Okay, so there you go. This would be my list. Conversations can be had. Debates can be had. And I just hope that you trust that I'm doing my best, okay? And I would hope that if you feel inclined to disagree, you would give me a specific reason why and actually list your rankings, okay? So take care. Be blessed. We got a weird week because of Thanksgiving. I'm going to try to give you the content, but I'm got plans, okay? So we'll keep at it, and we'll be on our way. So take care, and I love you, and we'll see you next time you decide to watch a Green Means Go video, which I hope is tomorrow.